What's up, Zombie Talk 123? Other news that just came out. Aaron Hill. Now remember, he was traded from the Toronto Blue Jays to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now for the Diamondbacks, you're thinking, okay, I can kind of see where they're coming. Why they're doing this trade. They want to get John McDonald, a defensive shortstop, help them with depth going into probably the playoffs, and then they're trading Kelly Johnson, who's been on the Diamondbacks for a few years now. For Aaron Hill. Now, both those guys have been struggling a lot, or at least are, playing not as good as people thought they would. Guys have hit, upwards to right around 30 home runs. Aaron Hill hit like 36 one year, and just have had really down years this year. They get traded thinking maybe, a new team might help it. And the Diamondbacks definitely got the best of this trade. Got into the playoffs. Aaron Hill bat 315 with them. The Blue Jays weren't really expecting much, maybe except I'm not really even sure. I can't even remember what was the motive of trading. Maybe thinking that Aaron Hill might do better, or Kelly Johnson might do better in the last, month or two, or maybe you'll sell some shirts or something. I'm not even sure 100%, but they got Aaron Hill out of there. Maybe he wanted to get out of there. Who knows? I can't remember. It was a while ago, but Aaron Hill, John McDonald's first. I think the Blue Jays wanted to sign a deal with him after they traded him. Defensive shortstop, and the Diamondbacks got to him before they did, as he signed like a 2-year deal with them. And then now Aaron Hill, who the Blue Jays didn't count out, re-signing him. They were interested in him again. The Diamondbacks have signed a 2-year deal with him worth a little more than $10 million. Now, Aaron Hill, again, a few years ago, hit 36 home runs, averaged like 31 home runs from like 2010 or 9 to 2010 or 2008 to 2010. So he obviously is a solid bat, and is one of the best second basemen in the game when he's right. And this whole year he was right. He only hit like 10 home runs. So, he struggled pretty much the whole year, bat like 260 overall, bat 315 with the Diamondbacks, and obviously being in that stadium does not hurt at all. I think he loved being around the fans. I think he loved being around the playoff atmosphere, getting to the playoffs. So obviously he had a renewed energy, and I think that he'll definitely enjoy being in Arizona for the next few years. Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks are really starting to look like a lot better team. You get Aaron Hill. If he's hitting better than Kelly Johnson is, that's an upgrade at second base. It's not even that expensive. They signed John McDonald. They signed Willie Bloomquist. They signed all these infielders. I'm not sure how they're going to fit everyone in there. If Steven Drew comes back and he's healthy, there's another really solid bat there at shortstop. Of course, they have Justin Upton, who just only is getting better and better. Their pitching staff could be improved, but, it's a pretty solid staff, led by Ian Kennedy, Joe Saunders, who could be non-tendered, but who knows. Paul Goldschmidt is definitely a young guy to watch for. Miguel Montero had one of the best years for a catcher, in the league. So they have a lot of good talent on this team. Their bullpen could even have more work on it, but it was definitely not as bad as a lot of people thought it would be going into the season. Their GM did a fantastic job this year building this team for the playoffs. And for next year, they really just need to maintain this level of play and get back to the playoffs, because it's going to be a tough division. I'm not really saying the Dodgers will be in it, but they'll definitely be tougher next year, and they'll have a chance. Any team with Clayton Kershaw, Matt Kemp, maybe Andre Ethier, and then a few others are probably going to try to get some free agents this year, is going to have a chance. And if Juan Uribe is healthy and actually hitting good, who knows? So the Giants, obviously, I think going into this year, though, probably the experts are probably going to favor the Giants because they made the deal to get Melky Cabrera. They're definitely going to work to get offense. But those are the same experts that predicted the Cardinals were going to get in fourth place. They're the same experts that predicted 27 out of 30 of them predicted the Rangers would win the World Series. All of them predicted the Phillies would win the NLDS series. Almost all of them predicted the Brewers would win the NLCS. So the same experts don't always know their stuff. So, you can't just go by projections on whether or not your team is going to do well or not. So, Aaron Hill, though, very solid signing for the Diamondbacks. And you start to look at, okay, we have second base, we have shortstop. If Steven Drew comes back, that even makes shortstop better. But we have John McDonald, we have Willie Bloomquist, we have a few guys that we can play around in there with shortstop. First base, are we going to go with Lyle Overbay? Are we going to sign him? Or are we going to, go with Paul Goldschmidt and let him develop into hopefully a good major league player? Right field, of course, you have Justin Upton, you have Chris Young, Miguel Montero catching, Ian Kennedy, are you getting a 9-10, or Joe Sauter? So you start looking at the positions. The bullpen obviously is going to be one of the main things that the Diamondbacks are going to go out there. I can see them trying to sign a guy like Jonathan Broxton, kind of a risk-reward player that probably wouldn't be able to cough up too much money to get him because he's been injured. And when he's healthy, he can be one of the best closers in the league. So, obviously I think it's a risk worth. Oh my God. Sorry about that. He's a risk worth taking. So I could see them going after a guy like Jonathan Broxton or maybe experienced guy like Joe Nathan. Who knows? I think anyone would want to go and play in Arizona. A lot of these guys' homes are in Arizona. And I think including Aaron Hill too. So, a lot of players live in Arizona. It's hot, it's warm, it's nice. The ballpark is great. They just had the All-Star game there. They renovated some parts of it. It's a great hitting ballpark, and being on a team that just made it to the NLCS, almost made to the NLDS. I'm really sorry, I'm just not talking right now. Almost made to the NLCS. Who wouldn't want to be on the Diamondbacks? And they're committed to winning. They went out and made trades that they need to happen. They got Jason Marquis. That didn't work out for them, but they still showed that they are committed to winning. And this GM knows how to build this team. This team was very doubted to win this division. Everyone thought the Giants would win it. And I was one of those guys that the NL West was an absolute mystery for me. I predicted the NL Central that the Cardinals were going to have a really good chance, but the Brewers, it was going to be Cardinals-Brewers pretty much the whole way, and I guess it was going to be a three-way race until the Reds just kind of fell off the face of the earth. But, in my predictions for the NL East, that's kind of an easy one. I predicted the Philly, and then the Braves are going to be really a good one for the wild card there, or the Marlins too. And then for the AL, I predicted the Tigers were going to win the AL Central. I got that one right, but the White Sox were going to be tough, and that didn't work out. But, I did predict the Tigers were going to win that one. Let's see. I thought AL East, I kind of had a feeling Boston was going to win it. It was hard not to pick Boston after the offseason they had, but their pitching staff was definitely a question. And then the West, I was thinking either the Angels or the Rangers, but the Angels had some questionable moves, and good thing you got Tony Reagans out of there because you don't need to give up all that money and two players for a guy who's not going to produce for you, Vernon Wells. I don't know. The Blue Jays somehow get these deals done where they're, relieving all this money that they mistakenly gave away to these guys in contracts to teams in the AL that are just desperate to get some offense, and this is what happens. It's not the way to win championships, and the Angels already have an overcrowded outfield. You had Vernon Wells, and you had like $20 million. You have Bobby Abreu, who's still getting paid a lot of money. It's like you have Mike Trout, you have all these guys. Let them play, let them develop. Instead, you're having guys like Vernon Wells who, unless he has an MVP type season next year, that trade is going to go down as one of the worst trades in Angel history, honestly. So getting back to the Diamondbacks, they're a team to watch out, obviously, and they're going to definitely have to have a busy offseason to keep up with the Giants and to keep up with maybe the Dodgers. We'll see how they go. But Ryan Domet, he declined an offer. The Dodgers made a one-year, $3 million offer, and I think the Dodgers are definitely going to have some money to play with, but they're not going to make really stupid offers, or they're not going to – I don't really see them going, all in for Albert Pujols. I think they might try to sign someone who's not going to cost as much money. But we'll see what happens. So, the West is going to be an interesting division, and we'll see what happens. But Diamondbacks signed Aaron Hill, definitely a good sign there. Has a potential to, hit. I think next year he'll probably hit 18, 19 home runs, bat, 290, and who knows? He might do even better and have an all-star year like he did a few years ago. He might hit 40 home runs. Who knows? So Aaron Hill, definitely positive there, definitely positive for the club. They make the trade, and the Diamondbacks obviously had the motive in this trade, and they're able to re-sign Aaron Hill instead of keep Kelly Johnson, a strikeout king there. So you're reducing the strikeouts, hopefully improving the offense there, right around the same price it would be for Kelly Johnson. And then you're able to trade and sign John McDonald, who's a defensive whiz, and we'll see how he develops on offense. But either way, this is a win-win for the trade that they made, and now they're able to sign these guys. A good trade, good moves for the GM, and good moves for the players. I like the deals for the players, and the Diamondbacks look a lot better than no one in at second base. Now they have Aaron Hill, former All-Star, and see how he does this year. He had some depth with John McDonald, Willie Bloomquist, all these guys, and he still got Steven Drew at some point. So Diamondbacks looking very solid. The Giants need to improve on defense. We'll see if they want to give up any of their starting pitchers for some defensive help. They already gave up Jonathan Sanchez. See if they give up anyone more. All right, thanks for watching. Let me talk 1, 2, 3.